Hello, this is Katharina Bordet from the Every Photo Tells podcast, which you can find at everyphototells.com. You can find my stuff at mimer.net. And you are listening to Short Stories of DanDanTheArtMan, episode 11.
ER3 by DanDanTheArtman.
Come on, buddy. It's time to get your new model. You ready? I bet you're excited.
I don't really want a new model, Dad. ER3 works great. He just had his yearly tune-up a few months ago.
I know, son, but we've talked about this. ER3 won't be able to keep up with your schoolwork anymore. You need to have at least an ER11 for your curriculum, and they just came out with the 14s. You haven't been able to update his OS in years. I've worked really hard for this, Connor. For you.
Come on, Dad. I can hack him and make him run that latest stuff. It'll be fine. He has enough hardware updates to do it. It'll save you money.
No, son. That would void the lifetime guarantee. My son won't be stuck with an old generation model anymore.
Okay, Dad, but can't I keep him? Please. I've had him since I was little.
Connor, you can't be serious. He's just a machine. Besides, we get a huge discount if we return him when we go to buy your new one. Come on, you should be excited about this. You've been telling us for years how cool the new models are.
Yeah, but I like my ER3. He knows me. We move around so much, and he's always been there for me.
We got him for you to be your teacher and to help you with your school work.
I know, Dad, but I don't do schoolwork all day. He's
your what?
Never mind.
No, what? He's your what, Connor?
Connor didn't like his dad's tone of voice. He pondered for a moment which would make him more upset, to answer him or to stay silent. He decided to answer him, cringing while he did so. He's my best friend, Dad.
What did you say?
Roger looked down at his son in disgust, then turned and stomped out. He stopped in the doorway, turning back.
Ugh. You don't appreciate all I do for you and your mom, do you? Some kind of thanks I get for finally buying you the new model. I'll be downstairs. You and E3 better be down in the next 5 minutes, and you better be excited. Or you can just forget about your birthday party.
It was hard for Connor to get his next words out. His vision was blurred with tears, and he was shuddering. He no longer cared if he made his dad angry. Fine. I don't know any of those kids coming anyway. They're all just kids of people you work with. They're not my friends. 3 is my friend. Connor ran to his door and slammed it shut.
Oh, that's great. Gloria, will you come and deal with your ungrateful son? I'll get the craft warmed up, and then we're going. You tell him I don't want to hear another word about it.
Connor ran over to his educational robot and hugged him. Though his body was cold and firm, the robot comforted him. He spoke through his onboard speakers. It is going to be all right, Connor. You will always have a copy of me on your personal drive. It won't be the same, 3. It will be like you're in a prison. But at least I will always be with you, Connor. It will be all right. The end. Hey guys and gals, this is DanDanTheArtman, the author and narrator of the story you just heard. Thank you guys so much for listening. This story I wrote to submit to dailysciencefiction.com. They really like it when you submit very short stories, because then they email stories to people who subscribe to their website daily, as their name suggests. And they also put them on their website, and I think they publish them at the end of the year as an ebook, and maybe even a paper hard copy. So that's really cool. This story was rejected by them, But it was a very nice rejection, stating something like, we've turned away very strong stories because it wasn't the right timing, or we had similar stories, all this nice stuff. A very warm rejection notice, and the first one I have ever received. So, maybe I'm on my way to becoming a real writer now. I've never submitted a story except to everyphototells.com. Really cool, and you should check it out. But, so this is fun. I'm just gonna write another short story and submit it to them. And if I have to do that 100 times, at least I will have learned a whole bunch about writing better stories along the way. And someday, I will be published by dailysciencefiction.com. And when that day comes, I will be sure to let you guys know about it. So, speaking of Every Photo Tells, it is February of 2013, and I submitted a story for Every Photo Tells. They put up a photo every month, and you use it as a prompt to write a short story. So you check out the picture and get inspiration. It's really cool. And then Mick Bordet and Katharina Bordet do a bang-up job of reading your story. If they accept it, they podcast your short story. And man, is it cool hearing them read your stuff. It's like, wow, did I write this? Because it sounds so much better than something I wrote, because they do an awesome job. And they have cool European accents. It's just an awesome deal. I love hearing them read stories. They actually write a story every month, and lots of other people submit. And you should too if you haven't. It's really fun, and it's a rewarding experience. And so go to everyphototells.com, check out their latest photo, get inspired, and write your own short story. And if you're listening to this around February of 2013, you can go to everyphototells.com and have a listen to my short story called Helium Heart. It's the saddest story I've ever written, but hopefully it leaves on a little bit of an upbeat kind of thing. I don't want to get people too depressed, but you'll just have to go check it out to find out what I'm talking about. And hear Mick and Katharina do an amazing job reading it. And if you're listening to this and it is way past February of 2013, you can go on the right-hand side and go to the tags cloud and check out Dan Absalonson. Just click on my name on everyphototells.com on the tags cloud, and then it'll list all the short stories that I have had accepted and read by them on their podcast. Another cool thing, if you get your short story read by them, they'll actually eventually publish your story along with all the other ones on podiobooks.com. So, pretty cool that I have stories on podiobooks.com, because that's kind of been one of my main goals, but I'm still in the process of writing a novel that I think is publishable. So, I'm going to go get to that. I have an outline done, at least one sentence or a few for every single chapter of my novel. It's the novel that I workshopped on the Roundtable podcast, episode 23, workshop episode 23, if you want to go to roundtablepodcast.com and see what that's about. Super cool. One of my favorite writing podcasts, and I got to be on there with Dan Wells of the Writing Excuses podcast, I'm Not a Serial Killer trilogy, published by Tor, all kinds of great stories he's writing. Dan Wells' 7-point story structure. Check that out on YouTube if you haven't. There's 5 videos of him laying out this whole awesome 7-point story structure tool that I use, and it really helps me figure out what's wrong with my story, or how I can make it better, or finish it, or figure out what should go in the middle. It's great. So anyway, I've been rambling far too long. I'm sure it's because I'm excited to put something in the feed. It's been a long time since I've read one of my own stories. My wife is working a night shift now, so after I lay the kids down, I've got a lot of free time. Hopefully I'll be using that to finish my novel, but also write and record a bunch more short stories to put in my podcast feed. So, you can find all my stuff at DanDanTheArtMan.com. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. And as we're rolling into 2013, I hope you're having a great new year. See you next time. This podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivative Works 3.0 International License. Sound effects are from the Free Sound Project at freesound.org. Music by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com. This has been a production of DanDanTheArtMan.com. Thanks for listening.